question
I got a question.
that we are going to answer, and is, can marriages survive in 2023? What do you think?
I think absolutely they can survive. I think all that matters is, do y'all's morals, values align? Is it bigger than you? I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of people tend to get married because they're like, oh, I'm just so in love. But like, what's the bigger picture kind of
Right.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to have a uniting force greater than you, like a uniting goal, right? Of course, y'all should be serving, God
Yeah.
together, which is already, he is already greater than you. And so you have that bond tying you together, because if you don't have this bond tying you together, besides maybe, this physical bond that you acquire through, intimacy, or, this emotional bond that you garner through just going through life, those things can break apart as, people go through life and as they change, because, you're not going to be the same person when you're 25 as when you're 35 or 45 or 55, right? And they aren't either. And so if you aren't headed in the same direction and you don't have this uniting force guiding you, then it's going to be easy to, just stray away from each other, right? And so if you have that bond, if you have that uniting thread, well then, even as you maybe become more, I guess, different, then you're still held together, by this thread, by the love of Christ, by, serving God, by, this uniting goal that you might have, right? Because we have this goal to serve God with our media platform, right? And so even if we get into different things and become different people, that is something that may always unite us. Another thing that may always unite us as well is our love for pickleball,
Yeah,
right?
we love
And so
pickleball.
we love pickleball and we love going out and playing together,
Yeah.
right? It's not something like softball is something that I just do, and
Pilates is something.
Pilates is something that you just do, but pickleball is something that we can do together. So you have to have that uniting force. Now, we have people in the chat that have been married a little while. So before we break down that video that you just watched, I want to give the floor to them. So Miss Chamberlain says, Christ at the center, and daily I ask myself, how can I make his life easier and make him happy? He is married to me. Oh, that's a bar. I like that. That
Yeah,
thought
that's
process
good.
has paid great dividends for Chip and I. Married 19 years. That's beautiful. Shout out to that. Serving each other shows our kids the example of God's love. I love that.
I love that.
Because, right, you want to be the example that you want, either other people, because like we're always being role models to other people, but especially to your kids.
Yeah.
For me, I don't have kids, but I do have players that I coach. And so when I'm, fostering those relationships, I have to be very mindful of, what I say, how I act and conduct myself, because they're always watching. And so I think that I've been able to develop these really close relationships, especially with, players like, Miss Chamberlain's son, Trey, and a couple of his other buddies, because of just the way I've conducted myself, and they look up to me. And so I talk to a lot of them just separately. They might reach out to me about, hey, like, and something that may not even do anything with baseball. They might reach out to me about, hey, like, this is happening in my life. Just want to share with you, coach, or something like that. And that makes me very
that's so
happy,
cute.
because it's like, oh, like I'm not just their coach,
Yeah.
right? It goes beyond
It's
that.
like a role model at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but that's how you build strong relationships. And when you're building a romantic relationship, it should be no different. But that's like, okay, this is my person for life, that I have to be there daily. But I love how she says that I ask myself daily how I can make his life easier, because one of the big things that Christ came, or that he said, was he did not come to be served, but he came to serve. And so really putting on this servant's hat and having a servant's heart towards the people that we love, right, is at the center of the message of Christ.
Yep.
Right. And even he also says, like, there's no greater love than laying down one's life for his friend. And so when you think about what that entails, is like, okay, I'm sacrificing my body unto this person, so that to show them love, to show them that I love them. And so there's a level of sacrifice for like sacrificing your own desires, right, to make sure that we're all good, essentially. So I
That's
love
a
that.
good point too, because actually that's kind of like my theme for this week is like dying to the flesh, selflessness.
Yeah.
So I actually like a little plug here. I actually just released a blog post on Medium about like dying to the flesh and selflessness. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah.
And then also there's a newsletter that I send out. I'm sending out every week of like a little spritz of encouragement to women specifically. But if you're a guy, of course you can join. But yeah, we're just talking about selflessness
Yes.
this
And
week.
we'll try to make sure we link that down in the description after the show. And it will definitely be in there on Thursday for our next show. So we'll make sure we have those links for you in there. Now let's go through that video one more time and do kind of a play-by-play before we get on out of here. Here we go.
What would you give to couples?
Anything that they do better is a plus for you. When you see their gifts as competition, you're bound to fail.
Hold up.
Now that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. It's like when you see their gifts. So God's given us, different abilities and, different gifts and talents that we can use for his glory, right? But oftentimes we'll see that somebody has something and it may be like a trait or a specific talent that we want to have, right? But they're just better at it than us,
Yeah.
right? It could be like cooking or it could be, just whatever, right? But sometimes we'll be like, oh, I really wish I had that, or I wish I was better at them than that. And you make it this competition, and then you harbor resentment when they're inevitably better than you at it because they're just better.
just naturally
Yeah, because you're
good at
making
it.
it a competition
Yeah.
rather than saying, hey, like you're better at this than me, which is great, right? And it's maybe something I enjoy, but you're better at that. So let me give you the reins for in that department so that us as a whole, we can be better, because it's all about, compatibility and, being, what's that word I'm looking for? Being,
Congruent.
well, yeah, congruent, but like, I forget the word. Yeah, I'm falling short on my words. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Complementary. Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
was looking for. Being complementary to the other person, right? Because if y'all are both the same, then y'all are both going to have the same shortcomings, right? And it's going to be easier to take you down. But if you can pick me up where I fall short and vice versa, well, then now we're kind of like this unstoppable force and unstoppable unit. And also, if we have Christ, right, before us, then who shall be against us? So we can bring that in as well. So, I mean, that's beautiful. If you make it a competition, you're inevitably going to fail, because that's just a crack in the foundation.
Yeah.
So here we go.
When we see young people, he did, she did, you did the dishes 3 times, I have to do the laundry. Everything is shared, and you are partners.
No one's keeping score.
Nobody keeps score. If I'm better at
Keeping score. I think that's something that a lot of people, struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
I think particularly women. I don't think guys really do that. I don't know.
I
but-
think guys do it sometimes. Like if they start feeling like, I don't think they do it as quickly. I think
Nah.
a lot of times ladies will right off the back maybe start to keep score, right? But I think guys, it takes a little bit longer. Like, man, like this feels like unbalanced, and then they start to tally it after they get that feeling of this feels off, right? So, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, I agree. That's a good point. Like, I hear a lot of times, like someone will get mad that someone left clothes on the floor, when in reality it's probably very minuscule to what the other person's like actually doing for the household and like for the family in a sense. So
how should you approach that conversation if that's something that is bothering you? How should you go to that person and be like, I don't like it when you put your clothes on the floor, rather than harboring it for a week or two, and then maybe you're disagreeing about something else and you're like, and you leave your clothes on the floor. Like, you
like,
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, instead of blowing up all at once. I mean, just say it. I don't know. I just feel like you should just say it when you feel it. Of course, maybe.
But how?
How?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just be like, hey, babe, like, can you please stop putting your clothes on the floor when you come in? It's right there, you know, the laundry basket, the hamper is right there, please. And if that doesn't work and you just genuinely just forget, I just feel like it's like, you know, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
The
proceed.
books, but he's better at fixing the house. I don't want to be the one fixing the house. That is a plus for you. You're not in competition with each other in a relationship. Anything that the one does better blesses the other one.
Been together 28 years.
So they've been together 28 years, and she says anything that one person does that the other person doesn't, it blesses the other. And that's all about having this mindset that two have become one flesh, right? Now, I don't even know if they're, you know, Christians or even believe in, you know, that theology. But what I can say is they do have the right mindset on how to stay together, like the principle, the ground level principle of it all. And I mean, it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful to say that, hey, like there's things that I'm not very good at or that I don't do that you can do very well. And that's a blessing to me because I don't have to figure out how to do it and take time out of my day. I can focus on the things that I'm very good at, which is, by the way, how effective businesses run, right? People specialize in different things so that the machine and the company can run very effectively. But also, yeah, you're just a blessing to the other person if you're able to, you know, be that compliment to them. So, yeah.
Married 28 years.
Together longer.
So yeah, I mean, that's it. Those are our thoughts. We really, really want to know your thoughts. Can marriage survive in 2023? We think they can. Again, what do you think?